And welcome back to the channel. A little bit ago you will have seen, or maybe not, maybe you haven't seen, I did an unboxing and swatching of the oil pastels by Paul Reuben, the 48 original set. And I had a bit of a play with them, swatched them out for you guys, and just created myself a card background in a galaxy just to see how I felt about them. I haven't played with oil pastel very much, and just wanted to get the vibe from a newbie, a beginner, of what they like to play with. So today I want to try the Mungyo oil pastels. These are the 48 set, and these are apparently the pale blue box are the ones that people say to avoid. Now I've got the Mungyo soft pastels and I've always really liked them, so I'm kind of hoping they're not as bad as people say they are. So we're going to have a play, and I want to create myself a galaxy panel. So I'm going to pull out some colours that I want to use. I'm going to use a black. I think we will have a little bit of purple. Let's see if we can get these out without end up completely coloured. This is a violet 520, a Prussian blue 540, and I'm going to add to that this Chris Crimson Lake 514 for a purple blend. Obviously I want some blues, so I've got Ultramarine Blue 539, Sky Blue 537, and don't have anything super pale, so we'll have to accept this Pale Blue 536, and I would like a little bit of pink in my galaxy, I think. So we'll go Rose Madder 518, Crimson 517, and Rose Pink 516. So I've got a black, some blue, some purple, some pink, and I will pull out my white as well. Okay, so I'm going to pop those to one side and we will see. So I'm going to start with my pinky centre. Just going to lay down a couple of pink areas, or maybe kind of a pink aurora. We'll do this kind of a shape. So this time, after having a little look and play with my pastels after my video and working out what seems to work a lot better, we're going to do small circles, which I'm sure you were all screaming at me last time. So I'm going to go in with the crimson, and I'm going to build up some sets of colour with a little bit more patience than I previously had for these. I am using what reports to be a compatible oil pastel paper, so I'm going in with the rose pink now, adding a little bit of that darker pink. Don't really want my pink area to expand much more from there, but I do want some white in this, so I'm going to mark out some patches of white. I'm just going to keep rubbing off the pink from my white pastel as best I can. Okay, so that's my pink area mapped out. So around that I want some blue. I'm going to start with my light blue. I hope you got a drink, guys. Can't imagine me in the background being a quick endeavour. Now you know why when I'm playing I just shove a background down to show you guys what things look like, because yeah, once I've played with stuff and decide how I want to use it, it's usually a very slow process. Right, I'm going to take that middle blue now, that sky blue. If you guys have watched my channel for any time at all, you're well aware that nothing I do is very quick. How are you guys keeping anyway? What are you up to? Are you oil pastel people? Do you avoid these things like the plague? Like I say, this is my second time using them. I've had a box of the Pentel in my drawer for absolutely forever and never even touched them. Because I'm considering playing with those next to see what difference they make. Are you guys interested in that? Let me know. Ultramarine blue. Is that the blue that I want? Looks very purple. Well, this one. No, I'm going to try this one. We're going to go with the Prussian blue. I figured that kind of a galaxy is, you know, the simplest thing to play and learn with. And it has the added bonus of me being able to use them for my cards, so win-win. Things have to turn out pretty badly not to be usable for a card panel, to be honest. Yeah, what do we reckon? Right, that's my blue. I'm going to add my purple layer in now. So this Chris Crimson Lake, 514. First impressions, I am using the same paper that I used for my Paul Reuben. I think the Paul Reuben were a little bit softer. These are a little bit drier, a little bit stickier. That may be better in the oil pastel world, but for me, obviously it's just an observation. Right, what have we got next? Violet 520. Only time will tell for your favourites, I think. I mean, once you own both sets, you might as well play with both sets before just making a snap judgment and never touching one set again. Ultramarine blue 539. Pop some of this dark blue purple down. And then I do want a little bit of black, just, oh, I do like their black, that's really solid. That's not messing around, right. 10 points to the black. Have to be a bit careful with that actually. It's too powerful. Just gonna go very plain here and pop it. I'm gonna give myself some black edges, corners should I say. We're gonna have some dark space corners. Okay, so now I'm gonna start again from the pink. I'm gonna go from dark to light this time. See how I feel about that. And now I'm just kind of trying to reduce the white of the page with layers, and see how that works. I would advise, to be honest, kind of rubbing off your pastel every now and again just to keep from muddying from your blue and such. Maybe I should have done all my pink and then added my blue. And then I'm going to use my pale pink. And a little bit of my white. I do feel that from my limited bit of experience, disclaimer, that the Paul Reubens blend together nicer. You know what's funny is that I don't think I'm built with enough patience for oil pastel, and yet, you know, I can sit there shading a piece of fur in with a pencil for like 2 days. Yeah, something very wrong with my brain there. Where else? Are you guys bored yet? Do I need to play this in double time? Okay, pale blue. And then we do our purples. If I ask for oil pastel tips, am I just opening myself up to a lot of criticism here? Okay, well, let's try. So I'm first just going to very gently take off the kind of pastel excess little bits and chunks that you get with pencils, those little dry excess pieces, and then I'm going to try my best not to lean in them. And I'm just very gently going to see how that moves and whether like that black's super soft and moves really nice. Whereas I feel like a lot of these colours are quite solid. Maybe we don't quite have enough pastel down. I'll be honest, it's so difficult not to just want to correct some of this by hand. I have checked they're non-toxic. Just a choking hazard. Right. If you overbuff, it takes it straight off. So you have to be that little bit more gentle about it. But these just don't seem to move as nicely at all. That black however, that moves lovely. Right, very gently let's take everything off this panel. Okay, so for the sake of science and to decide just whether it is just me, I'm going to release this panel. Try not to flick it everywhere. I'm going to pop that off to one side. I'm going to pop myself a new panel. Taking a little bit of that stick off that paper, so I'll be able to hopefully get it back off again when I'm done. And I'm well aware you guys don't want to see a sky for the 15th time, so I'm going to use some green. And I'm going to work this out. So I'm going to take out some of my Paul Reuben greens. And just really want to see the difference. And let's just see. Right, green number one. of a yellow green here. Ooh, that was darker than expected. And a much darker green in a completely different tone, so a bit of a fail. We'll go for a camo effect, shall we? There we go, and I do want a bit of white. Yeah, this white's a lot better. I'm just going to clean that off as I go. These are much softer. Back in with my light green. Just going to start to build this up a little. Trying to fill in any white space as best we can now. I want a little bit, I want a little bit more of that golden green, strangely enough. Quite like that. Almost leave some veins through there. Oh, this is messy. Right, okay, so let's see. Okay, I think it's a little bit about layers with this. Seems to be. That maybe when you think you've got enough on, you still haven't. Seems to be the reality of the situation here. I like that the numbers are on the back end, so at least you're going to keep them for as long as possible. Okay, let's take, I don't have anywhere near as much kind of a crumbly mess as with the Mungyos. Before I do anything else, I just want to have a little bit of a play with the warmth of my finger to see, yeah, look at the difference of the beauty of that. That's my dog in the background, by the way. He's itching. Yeah, promise. I'm gonna try this anyway, but okay, it doesn't give you the same control and it does give you a slightly different effect, but it also is much better than much better than the Mungyo. This time the pastel is sliding around, mixing together and creating that kind of misty look that I want. Now don't get me wrong, if you were drawing with the Mungyo oil pastel, maybe that is going to be, you know, a plenty good effect for what you want them to do. Well, definitely have smooth fingers after this. I suppose I should check that these are not toxic. Does say eco-friendly material, so I think as long as you're not sticking your finger in them too often, you'll be alright. Don't do this at home. These are beautiful. Look at that panel. Much better. Okay, I'm going to have to, because we're going to lift that up. And now, because I've come this far and I just have to know, we're going to have a little play with my Pentel as well. Let's decide right here and now which pastels will stay and go. I only have this little guy left, so he'll have to do. It is what it is. Let's see. Are any of you guys actually still with me? Or has everybody left? No, Emma. Oh, see? Fail. Whoops. Fix that later. Okay, so forever ago I got this set of, let's take the plastic off for you guys, this Pentel set. I'm not sure how many is in it. I think it was 50. They were like £6 at the time, super cheap. So we will see, we will see. And I'm going to keep this simple, and I'm just going to make myself some sky. Straight away these feel a little bit dry. That may be the amount of time I've had them. They've been sat in a drawer for a while. If nothing else, creating these kind of abstract backgrounds is super relaxing, to be honest. Even the Mungyo panel, up until the point where it wouldn't blend for me, it was interesting to play. let's see. I want it to be blue without being nighttime. See if the white is any good. The Pentel, surprisingly for very cheap pastels, are numbered and named, and it's right along the bottom sideways there. Can you see that? Excellent. So it's going to last you like right up until the end of its little stump, which is super fun for something I picked up so cheap. Very impressive. For all you swatches out there. Oh, wiped a little bit of green into that. That white is super soft. Again, these already blend into each other straight away. It's so much nicer than the Mungyo did. They're kind of moving and mixing into each other, as you would kind of expect. We'll see. So again now, just more layers, just getting rid of the white of the paper. They're also, again, like the Paul Reubens, a lot less bitty than the Mungyo. This has become a little bit of a Mungyo bashing episode, and that's not really how this started, but yeah, I've got to tell you how I feel about these things, really. It's kind of the point of my channel, and we can't all like everything. So if you love those Mungyos, I'm not saying that they're, you know, horrendous or unusable or anything. I'm just saying I don't particularly like them so far. I'll be honest, I think if they were the only set I had and I'd have had a bit of a play and then just left it, I probably wouldn't have picked up oil pastel again for a while, I think. Now, I have heard that the dark blue packaging of the Mungyo are different, and that it's just this light blue set that's particularly bad. Oh, ended up with a bit of a scribble there. I didn't mean to do that. Let's go back to our light blue, see if we can fix that. I just feel like those Mungyo, they just weren't mixing in together. They were just taking the other pastel off instead of laying over the top and adding to, if that makes sense. Okay, so again, just going to move those. I've got a very mucky pile of pastel over in this corner off camera, so you can't see the mayhem of what is happening here. Right, again, I'm just going to take those bits and pieces off the top of there. Let's not do that. Out of the way, so as not to rub them into my desk. And then I'm going to try with the paper first, so just very lightly, not applying much pressure, just to see if the pastel will move. Again, it is, but I do feel like it takes a lot off of the page. Again, don't do this at home. Oh, I just want to see how. So you can see there's quite a lot, there's a lot more coming off the page with these. Just going to see if it will let us fill some of this in. Actually, very pretty panel. Right, for science, I'm going to take my Paul Reuben white and probably ruin my panel now, but just really like to see if we can add to this. Those Paul Reuben are beautiful, to be honest. Right. See, I'm pushing my luck a little bit now, but I just want to see whether oil pastel is actually going to be a thing I play with. Now we've messed, now I can experiment, really see, and this is the whole point. You know, this is why when I'm playing like this, when I'm working with something I don't really know, products that are new, that, you know, I don't yet trust or know how to handle, I don't go straight in on my colouring books. I just get a piece of paper and I practice and learn and play. You know, worst case scenario, I spent a couple of hours getting myself covered in pastel and this goes in the bin. It really doesn't matter. Nothing happened. It's not the end of the world. Do I want a bit of purple? Am I really pushing my luck now? Probably. I love the amount of layers this is allowing me to add over the top. They're actually working really nicely with the Pentel, which is what I mainly wanted to see. Like, can I chuck these all in a drawer together? Obviously not loose, too messy, but, you know. Let's see what the Pentel Black plays like. Let's see, what do we feel that needs? Bit of dark blue. Okay, I'm loath to ruin what I'm actually liking for a panel, but I am going to let's just see. Let's give these Mungyo one last chance and see if you're just drawing a top layer, if, you know, if that's how they're going to work. Okay, last bit. Let's try the Mungyo white. Yeah. Let's go back to the Paul Reuben white, see the difference. Yeah. Okay. Last test. Let's see if we can see if they'll smooth down. Just blend in a little. So I'm just smoothing the surface of the pastel now, rather than doing much of anything. Okay, I think we've made enough of a mess. So I apologize, you guys. I'm going to clean up and then we will be right back. Okay, and then here we are. We have my 3 panels. So as a beginner in review, my Mungyo panel it's a big no from me. They don't move as nicely as the other oil pastels, and because I've got both sets, I don't feel the need to have to try and work with these when I could just use these and create this, whereas I'm going to have to mess and practice and find a workaround with the Mungyo. Having said that, for adding detail and creating a picture, yes, my Mungyo will do for that. Blended backgrounds, I would most certainly reach for my Paul Reuben. They are just absolutely stunningly beautiful. The colours just move and slide right into each other and just create the smoothest, prettiest background panel. Going to have to do a galaxy in this now that I've learned how to use these a little bit better. I'll get such a smooth effect and they'll be so much more fun. The Pentel surprised me actually. They don't move as nicely as the Paul Reuben, but they did blend into each other quite well, and they are nice for the because they're a little bit firmer, they are nice for adding that top layer of detail with your pastel over your background. Because of that, because I like the Pentel for that, and I've got the big set, I think I'm going to most certainly keep my Paul Reuben, going to hang on to my Pentel, and I am going to declutter my Mungyo. As many of you know, I've got a lot of craft supplies, and as I use them and try them, I am trying to curate my collection to the things that I actually like and use. That does not count for pencils, I know. I know the comments are going to be full of, but you have so many pencils. Pencils are different, that's a problem for me, they're staying. But out of the 3 oil pastels I have managed to declutter 1 most certainly, and to be honest, I've managed to play with a new medium and find something that I think I really do quite like. So I am excited to play more. I'm definitely going to have to create a galaxy card panel in this, I think. Think they are just beautiful. But imagine that as grass on your colouring page. That is really lovely. So, I hope this wasn't too boring for you guys. I know it was a super long video and I apologise for that. But when you're playing with new mediums, it's kind of the only way to go. And as always guys, happy colouring. I will see you in the next video. Thanks for watching.